Pavilion 4, which today has been the center of mobility. It's been the big key theme today. And as you can see, we're stood here with a Jaguar I-Pace. And there's something very special about it, which I'm about to talk with Barry Lunn, CEO of Provisio. Now, you're an Irish company.
We are.
You are focused on driver kind of protection, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're a bit of an outlier, though, in that you think it's ethically unsound. Perhaps that's the wrong way to say it. But you think that drivers shouldn't drive cars effectively. Do
Well, I
you want to
think
explain that?
I think eventually they
Yeah.
shouldn't, but for now, for sure, we just want to make it safer for drivers, and I think it's ethically irresponsible for us not to help drivers, make them better drivers, because autonomy was seen as the solution to the crash problem, but autonomy has failed. So we need to reset it, and we see safety as being the path to autonomy. So making a better driver and training a better robot from the better driver, and eventually we'll come to a place where it's ethically unsound. I mean, the sensors and software on this machine can see far beyond what any human can see. So it's not a malevolence of humans that we want to crash, right? We don't want to do that, but human weakness causes 95% of accidents. So we have to get to that place where we find that happy medium, and that's all we're doing, just doing it slowly but surely, and eventually we won't want to drive.
Human error is behind most car crashes, as you've just said. But most people are distrustful of kind of tech like this. That they take the hands, well, not take the hands off the wheel, but they feel less in control. What would you say to people like that with this technology?
I think we have to work with. I think we have to work with humans, right? That we are human, and I think that's the mistake we made. We said we're going to have autonomy. Get out of the car. We're taking over, right? And then we failed, and people went, "Told you so." So I think 86% of people don't trust machines. But if you think about it, people are nervous on aircraft, right? But aircraft flying is way safer than driving a vehicle. But it's because somebody else is flying. So of course people are distrustful. But what we want to happen is over time, as the robot saves your life a few times, right? So you go to make a crazy overtaking maneuver or something you can't see, the system intervenes and you go, oh, thanks for that. Over time, you'll become very comfortable with robots, and you become really uncomfortable with human drivers, because it's only when you actually start driving safely that you realize how bad we really are, you know?
Speaking of flying safely, let's have a look at the actual tech that you're using. Sorry. So it's AI based with
Yeah,
robotics
so
and
it's
radar.
exactly. So we essentially invented a new type of radar, right? Because from the ground up, because we needed to see way beyond what anything on the market could see. So today's systems see basically about 100 meters in front of the vehicle. The safe stopping distance is 220 meters at highway speeds, right? And when we say safe stopping distance, it's you not hitting the guy in front of you, or the guy behind you not hitting you, right? So that's what we had to achieve. So we had to build that. We literally built the hardware from the chip up. We built all the software, the entire platform, and it's a completely new kind. Like you can see the point cloud there. People keep telling us turn off the lidar, and there's no lidar. Because the nice thing about radar is it works in all weather conditions.
Yeah.
So we've developed this new 5 dimension. It's got AI on the edge. Again, the difference, without getting too boring on the tech, the difference between having artificial intelligence on the sensor is a 10x speed up. And in crashes, it's all about seeing it early, right? And stopping early. So we do everything on the edge, and then we do it at core, and then we do it in the cloud as well. So yeah, it's a whole new way of looking at things, but we think it's the only way, right? 1.3 million people killed on roads every year. We've got to stop that.
Before we have a look at the sensors, just to explain this to everyone, this is not what they would see on a screen of the car, is it?
No.
This is basically what the car
That's what
is
the car
seeing.
sees. Yeah, exactly. Those are the returns it's seeing, and you can see every dot in that we have an exact velocity for. So we know the pace of everything in the environment, and you have to see that, right? And then we're using AI on the edge that's determining, okay, this is a car, this is a motorcycle, this is a pedestrian. And again, the systems that are in there today, they can't see pedestrians. They don't have that. Whereas we can see pedestrians out to 200 meters.
Yeah.
We can see vehicles out to 600.
And of course, that's part of the reason why Tesla's been in trouble recently with their autopilot systems, hitting pedestrians, hitting other vehicles. How is this any different from Tesla?
It's probably the opposite approach,
The
right? We
opposite.
just totally don't believe in testing software on the road, right? We believe in deploying it bit by bit, and we believe in learning from the human driver, right? So that's the really important bit. So we're actually monitoring everything you do as well as helping you with the driving. So when you take over from our machine and we tell you, you need to slow down and you don't press the brake, we know that. And we check later, okay, why didn't they do that? And we've actually AIs and MLs on the brakes, on the steering wheel, learning constantly, reinforcement learning from the human driver, and then eventually surpassing it. That's the kind of role. And the other side, of course, is we're not, with Tesla was vision only, right? Whereas that's all fine, but when it rains, when it snows, and I'm from Ireland, right? We test these roads in one of the harshest environments in the southwest of Ireland, in Shannon, and fog, rain. Like we use vision, as you can see, it's a core part of what we do, but the radar really kicks in when the vision can't see, and so you can never actually solve the problem with just vision. Physics says.
Absolutely. So we're just going to have a look at the sensors, and to explain that, these are just for the demo purposes, aren't they? These would be integrated in the car.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, this is a test vehicle, so everything's on the roof because it makes my life easy. We can put things on, take them off, and that exactly. But you can see this is polyurethane, right? It's the same as what your bumpers are made out of, and that's one of the lovely things about radar, right? So LiDAR is great, okay, and it's super. And we've all seen the robo taxis, but no one's going to buy something that looks like an ice cream van, okay, for their own personal vehicle. So you have to go with something that's integratable, that can be put in. And cameras as well are fully integrated, like this car already has integrated cameras. So exactly, eventually there's a radar in every corner and one forward facing, and that gives you that whole 360-degree four-dimensional view of the world, and that's what we're at. And as you can see, the camera is going straight into the radar, and so straight away, and this has got a GPU and a VU built in there, so you're basically doing all that fusion and doing all that on the edge, like in less than 5 milliseconds. So it's really fast. So today's systems are 300 milliseconds, right? So it's a big change.
One final question: what's the reception been for the technology at Web Summit this week?
Oh, it's been unbelievable. Like we had a talk today, a panel talk, that like standing room only, which was really good for us. We were delighted, but as well, we're seeing over the last few months, people have seen like policy changes, and we're in Europe, right? The from 2022, it doesn't matter whether I'm right or wrong. You have got to have robotics in a vehicle from 2022, or you can't sell it in Europe. So things are changing, and we're seeing the changes with Missy Cummings coming in the US. So reception's been incredible, and I was expecting some tech people to kind of go, no, Elon is our god, but there's a lot of smart people here. They know that things have to change.
We've had a viewer question on the live just there. Is it wise to push a fully automated driving system, or is it wiser to keep human interaction paramount with AI assist?
Absolutely. Human in the loop is so important to all of this. Until we can get to a place where we can categorically, not theoretically by computer science guys like me, right? Categorically can show that the machine in this environment, in this scenario, is better equipped to deal with this situation, then it should never kick in. That's our approach. So we literally want it to be all around you, but you don't even know it. But you're ultimately making the decision. And only when, and we're talking years, not months, right? We're talking years. Only when we know that in this scenario, if you do that, you're going to kill yourself, we intervene. And slowly but surely, those interventions will become a natural autonomy.
Well, thank you very much, Barry. It's going to be fascinating to see where this takes you. Thank you for joining us today on this YouTube live. Tomorrow we're going to do our highlights from Web Summit this week, so join us for that. And in the meantime, check out euronews.com/next for all the latest news from the summit. See you tomorrow.